Hello everyone, today I'm going to be making heart pendants like this one that I made for my wife a couple years ago. I'm going to be using Kona dolomite, which is a rock from Marquette, Michigan. It's over 2 billion years old. It's a stromatolite and it's really soft. It's got a Mohs hardness between 3.5 and 4. If you're ever in Marquette, you can pick this stuff up at Lindbergh and Brothers Quarry. They weigh your car when you go in and you fill your car up and they charge you on the way out. The first time I went there, I filled up a big tub and a couple of buckets with it, and I thought it was going to cost me a fortune. And I got weighed on the way out and they told me it was going to be like $2.38 or something. So it's really cheap when you buy it there. In fact, they use it, pieces like this, they use to line their ditches and stuff for erosion control. So it's not really sold as a lapidary material at the quarry. They sell it by the dump truck load. So this is a piece of rough stuff. Here's a slab out of it. Those wet. Kind of see the color come out there. And here's a rough piece that's a little bit different color. So there's a variety of colors. This is one I polished with a Makita wet grinder a year or so ago. I like the stuff down here. You get more, less pink colors over here. You get some quartz veins once in a while. In fact, I think that's what the white thing in there is, a little quartz vein. The first time I made them, I tried making these kind of flat on the back, so it was round in the front or domed on the front, and then the back I just left flat, and that's okay, but I didn't really like it that much. So since then I've been making them domed on both sides. So this is what I'll be doing today. So let's get started. Well, the first step is to trace out your hearts on your slabs. Try to avoid any fractures when you do that. I have a little stencil that a friend of mine made for me using a Cricut machine. It's something scrapbookers use to cut out paper and things. You might notice that my hearts are not very symmetrical. That's because the first time I tried to make hearts, I wasn't very good at it. I had trouble making my hearts symmetrical and then they look bad. So this way, if you're off a little bit, it doesn't matter. Plus, it's hard to put a hook in the middle there in that little indentation. So I like having the hook up here better. So that's why I do it that way. Next, I'll cut them to shape in the trim saw. I have a bunch of little hearts cut out now. These are not perfect. They're just cut on the saw, so the edges are still a little bit rough. That doesn't matter because that'll be all ground off in the end. What I need is a reference line right around the middle here, so when I'm doming it, I can get it the same from both sides. So what I do is I put the pen down like this. I just use my fingers underneath the back end here to adjust how high. And I eyeball so it's about halfway. And there we go. This is the best time to drill the hole for the eye. If you wait until afterwards, this is all rounded up here, and it's really hard to get the drill to set on top of there without slipping off the edge. Right now, we have a nice flat edge to work on, and so it makes drilling a little bit easier. Typically, I like to drill underwater, but it's just kind of hard in this situation, so I dip the stone and I wet the drill bit and just replace drill bits a little more often. Now I'm going to put a dop stick on the back of each one of these hearts. This is hot wax, and this will give me a little handle to hold on to it as I'm working on the cabbing machine here in a minute. I'm going to dome one half of the heart right now, and I'm going to work up close to the line but not quite all the way to the line. Then I'll have to do the other side, and then I'll come back and get the edges later on. When you get one side finished, then you pop them in the freezer next to the pesto and the frozen strawberries, and that helps get the wax off of the rock. These just came out of the freezer. They've been in there overnight. It was late last night and I decided to finish up today. So this one's fallen off by itself. I didn't have to touch it. And then any wax that's still left on there, I just take an X-Acto knife and just kind of pop it off. Alright, now I'll just put the dop stick on the other side and cab the other side. I won't bore you with that process, but that's the next step. Both sides are domed now, but the edge hasn't been completed at all. So now we're just going to round off the edge. And I'm over here on the finer wheels. With this really soft stone, I find that it's really better to go slow. If you go on the coarser wheels, you just take off more than you want sometimes and it doesn't end up well. So here we go. So the hearts are now domed on both sides, and they've got the edges all smoothed out and rounded off. Hole drilled in the top. And we're going to put just a little more shine on these now. I'm going to use a product called ZAM. This is a buffing compound. It's a paste-like stuff and it has some sort of abrasive in it. It's not a wax. It's not going to leave a coating on it, but it does shine these up quite a bit. So I'm using a Dremel with a little felt wheel. You can use a bigger wheel if you want. You can put on a drill or something, but this works well for me. So you just get some of the ZAM on here and start shining her up. Doesn't take long. You'll see a big difference in a hurry. I don't know if it shows up on the camera here. This works really well for soft rocks. I use it on Petoskey stones a lot also. So now we need a little eye to go in there to hook the chain up to. So I have a piece of sterling silver wire here. And I'm going to make the smallest little loop I can make with this. And then I'm going to cut that off. And then I like to twist the end just so it has a little more to grip the glue when I glue it into the hole. Here's my little eye. It's going to be too long, but I'll trim it off here in a sec. Okay, so I got some idea how much I'm going to trim off. So I'll glue that in like that, and then I'll use a little jump ring here and just put that on there like that. And they're finished. I used 330 epoxy to put the little eyes in, and then I just put the little jump rings on, and they're good to go. If you make these out of harder stone, like I made this one out of jasper, you can just put them in the Lotto tumbler after you get them roughed into shape. You can get them kind of smooth on the wheels, but you don't have to do the last couple wheels, and then you can throw them in the tumbler and they'll get nice and shiny in there. Thank you for watching.